Welcome to a new episode of Oh, She's Funny. I'm your host, LP, and this week is very special. We've
Mm.
got a guest that, wow, you thought, oh, she's funny when you saw her on shows like 30 Rock or Tacoma
Oh,
FD. I thought, oh, she's funny because she's my best friend in the world. Please welcome Jenn Schatz to the show. Here she is. Applause,
hooray, Jenn Schatz.
applause,
Oh, that's
applause.
me.
That's you. I couldn't be
Hi,
more
brother.
thrilled, and no offense to any of our other guests.
No offense.
No
I love
offense, but
you, Sarah Burns. I love you, LK. I love you,
so
whole
many
family.
friends have been on the show, and
So many friends.
they all understand that you're my bestie, and I'm so glad you're here.
There's got to be somebody at the top. I mean, it's just the cream
All of
rise.
the world is a ranking system, and
It
if it has
is.
to be, you're the winner, and
I
that's
mean,
just how
like,
it is.
if somebody's hanging off a cliff and you could only save one,
If all my friends are hanging on a cliff, and I
you don't
only have
have to save me. It's not like I have
I
kids or
could
like
walk away
nephews.
from everyone, or I have the strength to save one
But
person.
then you lose. Then like,
Then I
I
lose
mean,
all my
yeah,
friends. What a
we
horrible
don't.
day, though, just all
Yeah, that's a
around.
bad day.
A horrible day. Why are
But
all of
then
you hanging off a cliff? What a bunch of idiots. Maybe I
we
do walk away from you
all
guys.
thought we saw something shiny fall over the edge,
And
and
you
we all
all
followed it to
fucking
the edge of the
tripped
cliff,
and were
and
able to
we.
hang on.
And I'm
Ugh,
like, wait, I'll be right there. And I'm like, what is that? I don't know. It
bunch
was
of
a weird
idiots.
thing.
I'm walking
We
away from all of you. You're
we
too
were all
stupid
on
to be friends
mushrooms.
with. How are you, my friend?
I'm well.
Um,
How is yourself?
let's
How
pretend that we don't talk every single day and know
I
every
know
minutia of life going on with each
the
other.
minutia of life, and then she'll miss not tell me huge things because all we talk about is like what we had for lunch.
It's an ongoing thing in our friendship where I talk about minutia and I leave out maybe something interesting. Somehow I forget. I don't know.
I mean, it's crazy. It's
I like to
crazy.
remain a
You know
mystery.
everything.
I'm a mystery.
No, you're not a mystery to me. I know everything that you think and that you say and do. I
You read
understand
me
it,
like a book, Jenny.
kind of.
But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you.
Are we? Or we're here to talk
You
about?
and and someone who influenced your love of comedy. So
Hmm.
let's start with a little bit of Jenny backstory.
Oh,
We want
what
to
are
hear how did your love of comedy come about? Were you a funny child?
I was, in fact, a funny child.
Of course you
I can
were.
say that. I was a real ham bone.
A ham bone from way
Real
back.
ham bone. What's that?
A ham bone from way back.
Born a ham bone,
And a
doing like
performer
voices.
early.
What's that?
You were a performer early on. You were acting as a kid.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Somewhat. Not like,
Okay. And when you were doing that, you were doing like what? Like print ads and stuff? What were you
I
doing?
did some commercials, some little baby
Commercials.
commercials, little 4-year-old, 6-year-old situation.
When you were doing that, were you like, this is my dream, this is my life?
I don't think at 4 that you think anything. You're like,
I
I
feel
thought it
like
was
some
so fun.
four-year-olds do, like Sarah Jessica Parker knew.
Oh, you know her so well. I
I
didn't know you
really
guys.
do. That's who I pictured knowing as a 4-year-old.
That's
Like she's
yeah.
playing
Well, she
Annie.
was actually a working actor
She was
at
like on Broadway, like being
yeah,
Annie.
like she
She's like,
was like
this is my life.
she's an actual child star. No, I wanted to be an actor, but I don't, I just also I wanted to be a comedian when I was a very young child.
You knew that.
I did. I knew that. I mean, I didn't think I wanted to like tour as a stand-up comedian, but
Right. You
I
didn't know the ins and outs.
and yeah, and knowing the ins and outs confirms that I do not want to be a stand-up comedian. But yeah, I was doing bits and voices and making videos and the regular funny kid stuff.
And then as you're getting older, are you doing like performing, acting in high school, college?
I did surprisingly not a lot. Like you'd think for someone who actually wound up being an actor that I would have been like the lead. You know, it's like everyone that moves to New York is the lead in their high school play in their small town. And I was never the lead of anything.
Were you a supporting of anything?
No, I kind of like wasn't good at all, and I was very unfocused. So like I went to an arts camp, Interlochen Arts Camp, and I did theater there. But I was always, you know, I'm too chatty. I'm too unfocused, and chatty is the general theme of the report from anyone trying to manage me as a child. Where
Okay.
like fun is being had, but it's not like other kids were like really, really focusing up, and I didn't have that.
Okay. But somehow
Somehow,
we get you to New York.
yeah. Then I
We decide we're
learned,
going
I
to
studied,
audition.
I went
We're
to
going
a
to go after this
conservatory. Yeah,
thing.
but I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't feel the need to like join the forensics team.
What's the forensics team?
Oh, is that a regional saying? Debate, like debate? Is that what people call it?
Debate team?
Debate, like it's like the orator, like they like do monologues and then like speeches about, I don't know what they do. I wasn't in it, but like
This is like a
my high
group
school,
that's like performing or something?
it's like you're well it's called debate in some other schools because you like debate a topic or whatever, but then
Okay.
there's solo, I don't know what they do, but my school had like a very advanced, like they were very highly ranked in this
Okay.
thing, which is clearly something I like would have should have been into.
Yeah, you could have been very
But
good at this.
I was always like, I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like those people. Like I was always just,
You're a little too cool or what?
but I wasn't cool either. I don't know.
Not
I
a
think it's
joiner.
very hard for me. It was always very hard for me to focus. So I just like opted out.
Okay.
Sort
And
of
then
shaped a
but
lot of
still
stuff.
you knew you wanted to be
But I
and
was in the school plays, but like,
I like
like I
this
was around. I
entertaining
was
thing.
adjacent. Yeah. It was more of an
Okay.
entertainer,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
necessarily like,
A
I mean, now
serious.
I am the greatest actor in the world,
Now
but
yeah, you've achieved that.
I mean, definitely, not who I was when I was in Rip Van Winkle when I was 8, but
No, well, you can never be that again. But did you ever try stand up?
a couple times.
Did you?
I did. Like it start like a couple times in those New York, you like pay $20. You have to like
You got to pay
pay
to perform,
$20 or like buy five
bring
drinks.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to like buy 5 drinks or pay $20. I did a couple of those. I don't know what my it's too harsh, like that
It's hard.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
There's such community, but it's also so insular and like so solo. And I don't think
You got to
that's
spend a
my,
lot of time
yeah,
working on your voice and
it just never
persona and
clicked. It never clicked for me. I'm
okay,
sort
that's
of
cool.
more of like a stream. I don't know. I don't really have a genre. I don't know. But I think it's more just stream of consciousness, stoner conversationalist type of.
That's a great brand. I'm
I mean,
super
I
into
don't know
that
if
brand.
that's your brand.
My brand, stream of consciousness stoner. I love it.
Conversationalist.
Conversationalist stoner.
Yeah,
Perfect. That's what we're doing right
I'm
now.
just not a go getter. I don't think.
Ah, you're a go-getter. You're great. You go get it.
Word, I get it.
That's like Lil Wayne audio right now. Every time I hear that, do you know that you know how rappers have like a an audio cue? Sure, like a DJ Khaled. Brr, brr, brr. Do you know what Lil Wayne's cue is? It's a lighter, like a
The
because he's
Beastie Boys have. Yeah,
lighten up a joint.
the Beastie Boys in Ill Communication. You hear?
So cool. Nothing
I think
cooler.
a lot of people have sampled the ripping of bong
The
and the in igniting of joint in their musical arrangements.
I love a sample. I love a sound effect. Anyway, uh that's a great way to introduce the woman we're here to talk about. She deserves a. So you're growing up, you're an entertainer, you're finding entertainers who you love, and let's talk about the woman who we're here to speak of today who's influenced you. Who is it?
Yes, yes, yes. One of many, one of
Sure,
many.
of course.
It's
One
hard. It
of.
was very hard for me
It's always hard to pick, but this is a
to
great one.
choose. Um, but she is a Jewess close to my heart, and she is Joan Rivers.
Joan
Um,
Rivers.
we all know who she is.
Bram, 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 bram.
She's an icon.
Icon, pioneer, trailblazer.
She is, I think, the one thing that's, this makes sense now that I just told you my backstory. The one thing about Joan Rivers, and I don't know if any of us, if we're talking about Joan Rivers, there is a documentary, a fabulous, amazing documentary called, I don't know, it's the documentary about Joan Rivers, um, which really lets you into like, if you don't know about her, you might just think she's mean. You know, if you're not that into comedy, like, oh, she's mean, like she tells mean jokes. But then you learn that she's relentless, like she's just a relentless performer. And I think that was really inspiring because that's like, I don't, that's not my vibe. That's something I wish I had. Like when I admire someone, it's not because they're just like me. Like, oh, I love you because you sit on the couch so great. It's like, no, I like you're relentless. Like
She's crazy worker.
it
Her
it's
documentary is
almost
called A Piece of Work.
a piece of work. It's almost not even human. She just lived to work. She just lived to enter to be performing in any way possible. And that's incredible. Like she knew exactly what she wanted and she spent her entire life doing it. And even though she was like as a kid, I kind of thought she was a little mean
Did you?
because I didn't understand, like some of it was funny and I was like sensitive, so I'm
I'm
like,
still like, oh my God, did she just say
right,
that?
but that's the whole thing, the best part about it. And then you learn later, when you get older, it's not necessary. I mean, she's really shitting on everybody,
She's
including
shitting on
herself.
everybody, and she has a sort of philosophy of why she's, making fat jokes about women. But
She
uh
has, look, it's not all looking back on basically anyone's comedy from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s is like there's gonna be a lot of
look,
like
yes, sure.
like
Everybody said some cringy things.
ooh, I
And
mean,
she did a
people
lot
still
more
are,
than fat jokes,
but
but she
yes, there's
she
more than
no
that.
one was off limits. She made fun of everybody's appearance.
Made fun of everyone's everything.
Yeah,
I mean, I went back. I was watching. This is horrible. She was like, I can't even like repeat something she said, but it's just crazy.
I
That
saw
she
one
never
joke where she
apologized.
said she was talking about Jackie Onassis, and she goes, Jackie Onassis with her eyes on either side of her head like E.T.
That's funny. She made fun of like all Mexican people. Like I was just. I mean,
A little
it's sometimes,
racism sprinkled in.
yeah. We don't have to put that part in, but she
She
never apologized,
she
and
never
I
apologized, and she did some
never
other
apologized.
important comedy things as well,
She
like
did a
talking about
lot of it.
abortion and
There was a lot. It was a
women's
whole bowl of
rights.
soup. It was a whole bowl. Joan Rivers was a whole bowl of soup.
She
Was
really
all the
was.
thing.
And she paved the way for a lot of, women who today who we think are like bold and saying crazy
Exactly.
things and,
Was
the
relentless.
Chelsea
She didn't
Handlers, the Amy
stop.
Schumers,
Oh my God, of course.
you know, paved the way for them. Joan Rivers was born Joan Andrea Malinsky.
Malinsky.
An agent told her she had to change her name,
Yeah.
of course.
So she
Um,
changed it to the agent's name.
did she change it to his name?
That's what I read.
Oh,
That she
that's so
changed it to
funny.
his name and he dropped her. I could have misread that. I'm like, huh? That the guy's name was like Tony Rivers or somebody.
Love it. That's hilarious.
She,
Hilarious.
you know that she cataloged every single. This is my favorite thing about her.
This is so rad. Yes. This is a great
This is
information from the
insane.
documentary too, because
From
you
the
forget.
documentary, which I saw in Chelsea when it came out in the theater, and Joan Rivers made an appearance after and did Q&A with a bunch of drag queens. It was
She
such a New
fucking,
York,
of course she
incredible
did.
New York moment. Like I was like, what the fuck? I'm like with Joan Rivers, there's drag queens, I'm in Chelsea. Life couldn't get any better right now. And the movie was so brilliant. But she catalogs every joke she's ever written
In
in
catalog, you're talking like Dewey
four
Decimal
decades
System on cards in little drawers,
in little drawers.
like alphabetized in categories.
I wonder what her daughter did. I mean, where is
That should be
that?
in a museum.
It has to be somewhere. She has to, I mean, she obviously
But
saved
also
them.
no one should be allowed to touch it, so you can't
Like
put it in a museum. I guess you could just
you
say
could
no one can touch it.
laminate
Yeah.
each, because she did index cards and they all
Yeah.
fit into these little drawers. Can you imagine having the brain to know, like, okay,
And
oh,
that's
yeah,
like 50 years of
50
jokes.
years of jokes of like
Also, like
constant.
to write them out one by one and put them in categories.
I
That's
mean,
incredible. I can't
relentless.
organize my,
You can't
desk.
organize your junk drawer. Actually, she's very organized. LP's very organized.
I'm pretty organized, but you know what I mean? Like to have the sort of brain space to put all of those into
I think it's like
categories.
really all she thought about, probably.
Um,
And
I
like,
I was lucky enough to work with her at Funny or Die.
oh yeah.
She was doing she sort of had the reputation of saying yes to everything. So
Because she is relentless and just will work
relentless, wanted to
all
work.
the time.
Just like, why say no? I'm working, working, working. So it was like a branded video for like a vodka company or something. And the premise was that her head had been frozen and like saved for the future. And
Sure.
so she had to like, in order to film it, we had to like put this sort of apparatus around her body so that her head was like able to be like green screened.
Hmm.
And it was like kind of uncomfortable looking, and she's like 80 years old and she's sort of like leaning weird in this chair with her head locked in this wood
She's like, this
panel
is
piece.
fine. I don't need to breathe for 10
Fine. She's
minutes.
like, I got it. Leave me
Yeah,
alone. Like, let's roll. What are you doing? Like, stop worrying about
she's a
me.
machine.
She had no problem. She also called me before the shoot, which like Funny or Die was like a run and gun. People were just like running in, like giving us 45 minutes to do a sketch. Like no one even read the
Changing
script
stuff last
before
minute.
before they came in.
Yeah.
And she called me beforehand and was like, hey, I wanted to talk to you and pitch you a couple jokes and make sure they were okay with you before the shoot. And she like pitched me,
You're
like
like, okay, Joan Rivers.
yeah, I'm like,
I like the first
Joan
one, but
Rivers.
not the second one.
Yeah, first of all, I'm gonna do whatever jokes you want. Oh my God, you're on the phone. I love
You're on
you.
the phone.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Joan Rivers is on the phone for you.
I
If
love
you
that.
want.
I love that call. Joan Rivers is on the phone for you. What?
You've had a lot
Um,
of people on the phone for you.
I've had a
I
couple
feel
of
like,
fun people on the phone, sure.
I mean,
Joan
yeah.
Rivers was a great one, but just and her jokes were, of course, better than what we had.
Of course
And
they're better. What do you mean? She's been
she just like such a pro, like
they're like that's the thing that with the catalog is that this she's not writing like two sets a year and like hanging on like she's like firing off like jokes every day,
yeah,
new
yeah,
jokes
yeah, yeah,
every
yeah.
day. I
And do you
mean,
remember when she was doing like the red carpet stuff and
the
and Fashion
best
Police stuff?
the best That's
So,
okay. I'm okay when she's like me. Not fat shaming is horrible, and I never like it. But like when she makes fun of
like an
celebrity
outfit.
and an outfit,
Make fun of an outfit. That's
that to
great.
me is all in good fun. Like that's like a
Totally.
safe place. Like you're on a you know what I mean? Like Joan Rivers is roasting you, you're lucky.
But I
That's
think
what
she used to have like all the writers like over to her house and they would like watch different stuff and write jokes with her and like everyone was just like hanging out at Joan's house before the show so they could write everything and
oh my
it
God.
was like a whole fun Joan hang.
A little spread, some lox, some
We'll
bagels,
spread,
a
we'll
little
make jokes
tuna,
about these
a little
outfits, see at the
whitefish.
taping tomorrow.
I love it.
So fun.
I wish I could have gone to her house.
I know. And her house was like all decked out,
In LA or the New York
extravagant.
apartment?
I think we're talking New York.
The New York one's in the movie,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
and
it's like
lavish.
royally
Yeah,
lavish.
royal.
Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
gold and
It's exactly how you think it would be. What do you think? She's gonna live with like some like white walls and like a regular toilet or some shit? Like it's
yeah,
gonna
there's
there's like curtains like all over
beautiful
and
fabrics and
fabrics.
layers and textures and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. She
extra.
was she was kind of like a gay man.
Yes, yeah,
She
which,
was like actually like a soup. Yeah.
and beloved by gay men. So
Oh
there
my
was
goodness, that she
um
did a lot of amazing work for gay and AIDS. Gay. What am I trying to say?
Gades.
Gades.
She did a lot of work for Gades.
She did a lot of Gades work, and she was known as Joan of Arc in the gay community.
Was
I
she?
read. I read that.
Oh, cute.
I mean, I don't know, if everything I read is true, but
It
that
is.
seemed nice.
Um, I feel like we should talk about the Johnny Carson controversy.
Wow, I was reading up on this and I somehow didn't remember all the details of this, and I even rereading it now to talk about her. I out loud I was reading about her and Carson. I go, oh shit, like out loud, like I'm like
Yeah.
watching something happen.
It must have been so tense and so awful.
I
Like
don't know, that's
just the
horrible.
the mistake of not consulting him.
To the point
And
where
he's such a
Jay
dick.
Leno never had her on, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah,
Cody
yeah,
never
yeah.
had her on. Like,
So in
you'll
case people don't know
never
what
be
we're
on
talking
the
about,
Today Show.
she was sort of beloved at the Tonight Show. She was like one of the first
She was
women who was on the show, and
his guest host. She was like his permanent guest
she was
host.
his permanent guest host, but from the first time she was on as a stand-up, he loved her and thought she was going to be a star. So she was like the woman that they went
Because
to
Bill
guest host.
Cosby
Oh,
recommended her.
recommended by Bill
Everyone
Cosby.
turns out to be a rapist. Everyone turns out to
Da,
be
da,
a
da, 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 da,
rapist.
da, 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 da,
All
da,
my favorite comedians are rapers. Whoops. I
ba,
guess
ba,
I
ba,
can't
ba,
like
ba,
them
ba, ba,
anymore.
ba. Joan didn't rape anyone.
No,
No, it's never the
just
women.
her own face.
Ah,
It
that's a great Joan joke.
was like
The Joan
an
joke.
homage. Yeah.
Um, but so she's, guest hosting the Tonight Show a lot. They're great friends, I assume. And as Johnny is preparing to leave the show, Joan maybe comes across a list or is told the list of people who are going to replace him. She's not on that list. She's in talks with another network to get her own show. She's like, cool, I'm going to take this other show. And I guess Johnny finds out that she's taken her own show that's going to air at the same time
He
as
finds
The
out on
Tonight
TV
Show.
when everyone else finds out, or like in like trade news. Like he finds out not
Not
before
from
from
not
her.
from his friend who he's been,
Right.
letting host his show
Found
or
it out
whatever.
publicly.
So she calls him and he already knows, and I guess he hung up on her and never spoke to her again. And also, I
It's
guess
hard.
blacklisted her from the show so far as his replacements, Jay Leno and Conan O'Brien, never had her on.
Jimmy Fallon had her
And
on when she was
sweet, sweet
80.
Jimmy Fallon had her on.
I mean,
I mean, I
it's
feel
tough.
like Johnny Carson is a dick.
Well, yes and
Related to
no.
this and not. Like, I feel like maybe he was an asshole, just like,
But I think that that's part of his appeal in that he knew exactly what he liked and didn't like. And I think that's one thing that people really loved about him was if Johnny loved you, you're in. And if not, like people almost wanted to see his opinion as much as they wanted to make their own opinion
they
of
did for sure.
of
Yeah.
somebody. And he was like a curator.
Yeah.
And with his blessing, you
You
could have
got to
an
be
entire
famous. Yeah.
career. I mean, it's like it was a big deal. It was
It was
everything.
huge. Yeah. It made people's careers.
So, in that world, like it's not to be taken lightly, sort of
Yeah. She
his
said
love and affection.
afterwards, like, I learned the lesson, like, I should have called him before.
Probably, Joan. I mean,
Probably.
yeah. But also,
Also, like, let's repair, Johnny. Can we talk about this? Like, what the fuck?
also like you're thinking friendship like what like you and I have, like everyone in show business isn't really truly friends. Like, sure, they were friends, but also he can like cut her out like that because that's like he betrayed her and that was the basis of their
Right. But I also
connection.
think he's like some like conservative little prissy dick.
Talking shit about Johnny Carson
I
on the
feel like Johnny
OC
Carson is
Money.
a prissy dick, and I'm gonna say it here.
Oh my God. I mean, I don't have anything to support or not support that. I'm just you're being in the
I'm putting that out
essence
there.
of Joan. You're being very bold right now. You're making
Yeah.
bold statements. You're making bold moves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Slightly shook, but
Are you? Yeah, I just get this vibe that he's like a judgy little,
he's definitely. But that's the whole point is that
not in
you,
a good way, not like, oh, I like get comedy and I'm a judge of good comedy. I
yeah.
think he's like a holier than thou, like I'm better than you. I do no wrong. And then what is he secretly doing?
What
What's
jerking
what's
off on?
his what's his creepy thing that we don't know about? What's Johnny's?
Wouldn't we have known by now?
No, some people die and we don't know.
No. If he was a perv, he would have perved out on a lot of people. Like
Well, he doesn't have to be
I
doing
think that's
something
one of the things.
so, horrible or illegal, but he just, I think he's a little bit of a jerk.
I think I don't disagree, but I also think you have to be a jerk to get to be that position. And I
Yeah.
think that any talk show host, especially late night, David Letterman, jerk also. But I mean, are you
I think
kidding?
he's
I
a
was
nice
there like,
grandpa.
but he was a jerk.
I
That's why
guess
we
he was
loved
a
him
jerk then,
because
yeah.
he was to me he was my. I mean, I didn't we weren't that old enough to understand Johnny during his time, but Letterman was my guy, and he was a jerk. And
Yeah, he was kind
I
of
was an
jerky.
intern for Conan O'Brien, who was, he's a nice guy, but also can be a jerk. I think like he's just regular. But David Letterman, I knew other interns that worked for him, and he was like on a separate floor, and you weren't supposed to make eye contact with him. And
Oh, the eye
but I
contact.
still worship him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even though, because one thing, and I only am talking about Letterman now just because I know him better than I know Johnny, like in my mind. Um, but you kind of have to be a jerk to get into that position of power where you are controlling the narrative, you're controlling it's a place of great power. And I think you have to be kind of cutthroat to get there. Um, wait, what was I gonna say? We were just talking about no, before Conan. Oh yeah, Letterman, you weren't supposed to look in his eyes, and it was like kind of like, well, yeah, like he's David Letterman.
Don't fucking look at him.
Like, honestly, the dude's kind of brilliant. Like, brilliant people are really
Leave him
fucking
alone.
weird. Like, that's it. That the thing is that creative, brilliant people are
Yeah.
always fucking weird, and
Doesn't want to
sometimes
fucking
they're
say hi to
assholes.
every assistant in the goddamn
He's
hallway.
not saying
Move
hi to
along.
anyone. He's not saying
Move
hi to anyone.
along.
You
It's
know,
300 people who work here. I don't have to know all of you. Go.
I mean, I could tell you Conan's coffee order in the summer of 2000.
What was it?
It was a tall, where was I going? Starbucks, obviously. It was,
Tall. He's so big. He gets the tiniest coffee.
no, is that small? I can't
This is
remember because I
small.
haven't gone to I don't go to
Yeah.
Starbucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
Where do you
LP.
get your
I don't
coffee?
like
God.
Starbucks. I don't like it. And so the last time I probably went there was 25 years ago to get him his
Hmm.
coffee. But he liked skim milk and Splenda.
Okay, I respect that.
Very sensible. Always very fit.
Um, Something I read about Joan that made me think of you is that she liked to watch murder shows at night and sew pillows,
That's a juicy, lovely detail.
like pillows that had like sayings on them.
Like saying like embroidery,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's such a cute grandma thing to do. And
Yeah,
she's like
something
so not
relaxing.
that vibe. That's really cute.
But you and the murder shows for sure. She also
Definitely.
liked to have hidden cash around
Of
and
course. I think
and
every Jew does,
and she
especially
liked
the
to
older generation.
put it in milk dud containers because it would like fit the size of cash. And if she had it in her purse, like people would look over it and think she just had candy, like if she was getting robbed or something.
Wait, I'm telling you that's got to be like a very Jewish thing because my mother, I mean it definitely is cuz
I love a
there's
milk
a
dud
reason.
wallet.
There's a reason. Um my mother hides cash in ridiculous places. It's like,
Really?
yeah,
Milk dud
it's
wallet.
just in case they come for us.
Um,
So
and
dramatic.
then sweet Joan Rivers passed at the age of 81, kind of unnecessarily.
I know. I didn't realize that. I was like, oh, she was 80. That's good. That's a good life. But it wasn't
Like
even, she could have lived another
sort of
10 years.
like a botched
Throat
procedure,
thing.
throat procedure that didn't need to go wrong and did.
And
And
Melissa Rivers sued
yeah,
and won.
yeah.
I think she
Well, they
won.
fucking fucked up. Yeah.
Like she died because of somebody
As
else.
somebody fucked up.
Like
Yeah.
you killed Joan Rivers?
It's so sad, like it's so upsetting. Um, Howard Stern gave a eulogy at her funeral
Yes.
that started with this. Joan Rivers had a dry vagina.
She would be like rolling around laughing. That's so funny.
So funny.
That's exactly what she would want,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I think
good.
it's funny.
I think it's great.
She in the 90s, my mom was the vice president of our synagogue and she organized fundraisers. And one of them was she brought Joan Rivers in. I guess she would, this was probably an established thing that she sometimes did. Like, I think she did a lot with like the Jewish community, like events and stuff and all that kind of outreach. And somehow she's at my temple in North Miami Beach, Florida, and was like, apparently my grandma was there and she loved my grandmother's outfit and it like made the rest of her life or something. I don't know. She said like, you look fabulous right now. But she
Amazing.
insulted my mom's best friend's ring, her wedding ring. And she's like, you can't be Jewish because no Jew would accept a ring that small or some horrible thing. And it was
Yeah,
true.
it is true. She knows.
I mean, like she wasn't Jewish, I don't think,
I
the
mean,
friend.
what's better than being insulted by Joan Rivers?
I know, right? Like
It's kind of a badge of honor.
I for me it would be. You can't be too sensitive.
Apparently she used to really lay into Elizabeth Taylor
Like, as a funny target, just like,
because she would be overweight sometimes. And I was reading some of the jokes that she would say. What's Liz Taylor's blood type? Ragu.
it's not even like I'm not even thinking of Elizabeth Taylor. It's the jokes. It's
It's
like
so
it's
stupid.
her brain. Some of her funniest stuff to me, I tried to watch some of her stand up, some special. I would love to get my hands on like earlier stuff, but
Yeah.
what I found the other day was like in the 2000s or something, but she fuck, I keep losing my train of thought. Is that from weed?
Could be from weed.
Oh,
Liz
shit.
Taylor puts mayonnaise on aspirin.
What is for why?
She
To eat
just,
it?
that's what she said.
Oh, I thought you were actually saying a fact.
No, just Joan fucking with Liz Taylor.
It's like some of her funniest shit was on those fashion shows and on
Oh yeah.
all that stuff because she's improvising.
She's
And
improvising
then you really see like I guess
so
that's
fast.
sort of the comedy that I am most adjacent to. It would be improvisation. And watching her do that is like, look at that machine fire off.
It is like a
Look at
joke
it.
machine.
Do, 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 do. And they're all like painful
Sharp.
and right on. Like, that's to me what's the most impressive part about her
Yeah.
is the like non-stop cogs turning and like her improvising.
Yeah. I mean
Her improvising was as funny as her actual everything else.
it's like her tool has been trained for, she's 80 years old. For 80 years, she'd been training
Mhm.
this joke tool, and it just is so expert at that point.
Yeah, because she was relentless. Again, once again, back to that.
Relentless, wonderful
Relentless. Never stop.
pioneer.
Pioneer who had a very many hard things happen in her
So many
life.
hard things. Oh my God.
If you read about her life, it's like, oh,
Comedy from tragedy.
a lot, a lot.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Well, that's Joan Rivers, people.
that's Joan Rivers.
Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks, Jenny, for coming and talking about Joan Rivers.
You know, I got a very busy schedule,
Me
but
too.
for you,
For us, always
for
time for
this,
us.
I squoze you in
You squoze me in.
because I love you so much.
I couldn't appreciate it more. I love you too.
So
And
busy.
everybody chime in on whether or not you think Johnny Carson is an asshole.
I mean, he's
Let's
like
hear
an
it.
old white man, so
An
just
old
by
white man. He's
default,
probably a
that's not
horrible,
kind of
horrible
an
person.
asshole. But I don't think asshole has anything to do with like the comedy. You know what I mean? That's why we
He
love
might
Joan.
get jokes.
'Cause
He
he
can
was
get jokes.
technically
I
an
think
asshole
to Jones an asshole, is that what you said?
to a lot of people.
Nah, she was good. She loved the gays. She loved.
No, no, but like I'm sure many people thought she was an asshole who didn't think she was funny. Though someone's always going to think you're an asshole.
I think Johnny Carson is not a good person.
What did he do to you?
I just get that vibe and I'm to stand by it. All right. Follow the
I'm not going to
podcast.
interfere.
Oh, she's
I'm not
funny
going to interfere.
podcast on Instagram. Follow it on Spotify, on iTunes, on wherever you're listening to it.
Follow it in your heart.
And do you know I have listeners in Poland, in South Africa? Not joking. I don't know why that's funny to you, but that's truly true. So,
What up,
what
Poland?
up, Poland, Pakistan? It's people all over
Really?
the world. For real.
I'm glad you didn't tell me that before. That's a lot of pressure. I just
Yeah, the
assumed
whole
no
world's
one was
listening.
listening.
The whole,
No,
I mean,
just
it's
your
not a
mom.
lot of
Hi, Helen.
people in those countries, but there's a tiny percentage. It says
I'm
United
glad
States.
you didn't tell me that before. That would have added a lot of pressure.
Well, you did great. Thanks for being here.
Knowing that we have a foreign audience or
There's a
any
foreign
audience,
audience. Yeah, you're
any
international,
audience.
baby.
Wow.
All right. Thanks everybody
Shalom.
for
Namaste.
listening. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.